The U.S. Open Tennis Championships.
Johnny Mack battled double fault in a Dutch qualifier as he attempted a long march to Grand Slam glory. Wimbledon champion Boris Becker battled to the brink, but never blinked. French Open champ Michael Chang dueled Dr. Dirt and led a charge of the young Yanks into round 3 of the United States Open on a star-spangled night. New York, New York. Its Manhattan towers cast a magical glow in this view from high atop the stadium court at the National Tennis Center. The first night session of the U.S. Open draws a sellout crowd as the third day of action continues at the toughest tournament in tennis. Indeed, it is still going on. Night action on the stadium court in the 4th set. The defending champion and number 5 seed Mats Wilander finds himself with his hands full against 18-year-old Pete Sampras from California, who's leading 5-1 in the 4th set. Wilander 2 sets to 1 up. We won't be able to stay with this match until its conclusion, but we'll keep you updated as we go along through our highlights program. Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan, along with Mary Carrillo, and the big news tonight was a match that started this afternoon, finished this evening, for reasons we'll tell you about as we go along, and it featured a tremendous upset, John McEnroe going out.
Unbelievable. John McEnroe had gone through all of 1989, Tim, having lost to only the top 3 players in the world, Edberg, Becker, and Lendl. He goes up against a qualifier from Holland, Paul Haarhuis, who's ranked 115 in the world. Who could have expected this?
It was a tremendous show out there. McEnroe struggled, but the young Dutchman won a lot of hearts with his play. Let's look at him. Here's a young man who has been going to college at Florida State University after starting at tiny Armstrong State in Georgia and transferring over, and since that time, he has obviously picked up his game. McEnroe knew he was in trouble in the first set.
Make sure we're watching the same match. I don't think we're watching the same one if you thought that was out.
Well, McEnroe was down 4-3 at that point. He admitted that he let the distractions get in his way throughout the match. Haarhuis now up at 5-4 here in the first set. Beautiful lob over McEnroe's head, and the Dutchman won the first set 6-4.
You got to remember, it was only McEnroe's second match of the tournament. Haarhuis, as a qualifier, had already won 4. In a regular tournament, effectively, he would have already been in the quarters. He had a lot of confidence. Look at that reflex volley he made. Even McEnroe had to give him some skin off of that one.
That gave him a 4-3 lead in the second set, and after splitting the first 2 sets, Haarhuis up 4-1 in the third. There's the finish of the second set, and they've split them. Now we're in the third set here. McEnroe serving with Haarhuis up at 4-1. Another beautiful topspin lob.
It's one of those days, McEnroe said, you wish you never had in your whole career.
Serving now for the third set, Paul Haarhuis from the Netherlands.
This guy's tough. He's a big, strong, powerful guy who can hit out on everything, and as we've all seen, McEnroe and Tatum O'Neal, for that matter as well, he doesn't like pace.
It's a problem for him tonight. First game of the 4th set. Good positioning by Haarhuis. Knocks off another volley winner. And an obviously bothered McEnroe, despite hitting that winner, just couldn't keep his head in it.
Who called that? Ball was out. Point before. Who called it? Line person. You got to be kidding me. What call was that? I didn't hear any call, and it was in besides.
I never relaxed through the whole match, McEnroe said. I don't know why.
And suddenly, the upstart qualifier, Paul Haarhuis, found himself serving for the match.
Ever since I got defaulted in the doubles, I think that my mentality is let it affect me adversely, and there's no way to win a major Grand Slam here if you're going to think negatively at all. You got to be really positive and not let the distractions affect you. And I just felt like I just didn't feel like I was totally there. I just wasn't all there. I don't have an explanation. I tried to prepare as best as I could. It's obviously, I don't need to say how big a tournament it is, but I just didn't, I don't know, I just couldn't get going. Couldn't get into it.
That was a remarkable victory, Paul, the biggest upset since Chang beat Lendl at the French. What made you think you could beat McEnroe?
Well, I won the first set, and I was playing very well. And after I won the first set, I told myself, you know, if you win one set, you can win another one, and you can win three. You just have to play well and keep playing well.
You want to have another look at match point?
Sure, I haven't seen it yet.
What were you thinking about? Can you talk us through this?
I was just very happy. I was just very, you know, I was hoping to hit my first serve in, which is very important, because then he can't, you know, pressure me with a second serve return. And his return was a little bit short, and I just attacked it and went for it and, you know, finished off the volley. I think it was about the second or first volley I hit in the whole match, by the way.
When John McEnroe was 18 years old, he'd already gotten to the semifinals of Wimbledon. When you were 18 years old, your greatest achievement had been to get to the quarterfinals of the national 18 and unders in Holland. How can you explain your remarkable rise in the last few years?
Well, since I came to America, I've been practicing more than I was when I was in Holland. I didn't practice so much, and tennis was not really my favorite sport until I was like 17. And I practiced more and more when I came to America and started improving, and I just played better and played a lot of matches in America, and I guess that improved my game. And I just, after I got my degree, I was just set on playing on the tour for a while.
You've changed your goals a couple of times from the beginning of this year, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. At the end of the last year, I told myself when I was ranked 460, I hope to be top 250 by the end of the year. Then in February, I was already 240. I said, well, top 150 by the end of the year. Then in end of May, I was 140, and I told myself top 100 by the end of the year. And I guess after this tournament, I'll be top 100, so I'll maybe set my goals again.
I guess you should. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Could be even higher in another couple of weeks. Who knows? Now let's look at John McEnroe. What effect the loss to a qualifier?
Well, he was asked that in the press conference, and he said, right now I don't even feel like playing tennis anymore. I'm so disgusted with my performance. It's a major shock to his system. Maybe he'll get over that feeling, but he's very, very down.
That's for sure. Well, still to come. We're going to keep you updated on that match going out there on Stadium Court right now. Pete Sampras, the young American, one of several, having great success in the tournament so far, has evened it up against Wilander. Also still to come, a look at other young Americans who are making their marks here at the U.S. Open, like French Open winner Michael Chang, Derek Restagno, who nearly spelled goodbye to Boom Boom, and a grand old lady who goes from here into the history book.
The 1989 U.S. Open Highlight Show is sponsored by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products. And by Perrier. Luckily, everything happened just right. It's perfect. It's Perrier.
Live now out on the Stadium Court, you're looking at Pete Sampras in the foreground, Wilander at the top of your screen, the defending champion. They're in the fifth set, and it is 30-all, with young Pete Sampras leading 2 games to love. Sampras, an 18-year-old born in Potomac, Maryland, now lives in Rancho Palos Verdes, California.
Sampras is definitely one of those brightest lights in American tennis. He's a big kind of player, a serve and volleyer type. And it's been so interesting to watch him play this match because he's young enough now. He still doesn't know when a good shot will win a point against a guy like Wilander instead of a great shot.
Game Wilander.
Like that.
Wilander.
A good shot would have done it. He went for too big a shot, didn't he?
Sampras.
Yes, he did, and Wilander wins the game to pull to 1-2 in the fifth and final set, and we'll keep you updated on that. Well, now earlier, yet another American, Derek Ristano, you may remember him from a quarterfinal a year ago. He upset Tim Mayotte en route to the quarterfinals. Today, against Boris Becker, he nearly pulled off a tremendous upset. Now, this came after Ristano was up 6-1. Boris Becker complained about that call that could have evened the match at a set apiece.
That one, he said, Becker, that very bad call cost him the second set. Derek Ristano from California played exactly as well as Paul Harhuis did against Becker. He was aggressive from everywhere. He served very, very well. High-kicking shots into Becker that he just couldn't attack.
Ristano won that tiebreak in the second set. We're here in the third. Some tremendous shot making by both players here. Becker moving ahead 3-2 in the third set. Now Becker at 4-3. And Becker won the third set 6-3, battling back from 2 sets down.
Yeah, but battling as well was Derek Ristano. In this game, he had 6 break points against him, and he still hung tough.
That makes it 4-all. You're in the fourth set. Now they're at 5-all.
At this point, Becker said of himself, the only thing I had going well today was spirit.
So Ristano was serving for the match. But the Wimbledon champion, again, on the big points, coming up big. Another tiebreak situation in the fourth set. They're at 4-all in the tiebreak. And Ristano goes up 5-4 in the tiebreak. And now leading at 6-4. Match point opportunity for Derek Ristano. You see he's changed shirts here. He did several times during the match. And he not that long, keeping Becker alive. Still at 6-5, Ristano, but Becker now serving.
Second match point for Ristano. Becker said later, Ristano had that shot of mine covered. The only way I could win that point was to hit the tape, and that's just what he did.
So now Becker at 7-6. Ristano. Set point again. Great play here. Watch the coverage by Becker and watch the shot. A lob on the run, perfectly placed. Ristano cannot answer. Into the fifth set it goes. Becker down the line, breaks Ristano in the first game.
Ristano said he played solid at the beginning of the fifth set. I didn't. That's where I lost the match.
Ristano back in red, and the match point goes to Boris Becker. The champion showed his quality, 6-3 in the fifth.
I thought I should have had that. I thought I really had, serving forward, first serve, and a little bad luck hit me, and I think I played well. He just came out with a big shot right when he needed it. That's what makes him, I guess, top 2 in the world.
You had a questionable call that would have evened things at a set all. Instead, you had to climb back from 2 sets down. That's not the kind of a match you like to have any time, but certainly not so early in a big major tournament.
Well, if I could choose, I would win every match, love, and love. But, these days you can't choose, and I take any match I get. I was lucky to survive today, and let's see what the next day brings.
Well, Boris Becker, what a battle. He seemed pretty calm afterwards. He's a calm competitor too, but what a great match that was.
One of the best big point players I've ever seen. For the third time in his career, he's come back from 2 sets down. The first time he did, as a matter of fact, was here at the U.S. Open in '87 against Tim Wilkinson. And then earlier this year against Andre Agassi at Davis Cup. The guy is as tough as anybody.
Still very much a factor in this tournament. McEnroe out, Becker in. Now, we talked about the American youth movement. It did roll on in other matches today. Michael Chang defeated Tim Wilkinson in straight sets. Keep an eye on the French champion. Number 11, Jay Berger, having a great summer. A straight set winner over Richie Renneberg. Aaron Krickstein won in 4 sets against Wally Masur. 19-year-old Jim Courier, another name to note. He beat Andre Agassi in Paris. He won his first round. He next plays Jared Palmer, yet another young American, impressive today against the veteran, so-called now, Jimmy Arias. 20-year-old David Wheaton was a winner tonight. David Wheaton was a loser tonight against Martin Haite, but again, a name to remember. Todd Witskin, who upset Brad Gilbert, he fell today, ousted by Yannick Noah in straight sets. When we return, we'll have more from the U.S. Open. Stay with us. Back live at the National Tennis Center on the stadium court, Pete Sampras is leading 2-1 against the defending champion, Mats Wilander. And we're going to stay with this and as long as we can here on our highlight show. And we'll just follow as much as we can bring you tonight of 18-year-old Pete Sampras from Rancho Palos Verdes, California. A 1989 match record, Mary, of 15 and 14, but as you pointed out, he is an outstanding young American prospect. He seems to have all of the goods. All he needs is experience and maturity.
Very, very true. Keep in mind also, though, that since the French Open, Mats Wilander has played a lot better this year. The nice big serve. He's got a nice loose motion. He's a big, tall string bean of a kid, as you can see. And as I said, he's got a nice casual motion that masks an awful lot of natural power.
Looking at some other scores as we go along here, the number 1 seed Lendl completed his match with a victory. There's the Becker score, McEnroe upset. Chang over Wilkinson in 3. Second serve upcoming for Sampras. And Mancini from Argentina, he can be tough. 7-6 and 4 over the Soviet. Back to deuce.
And again, Sampras, again, he's just a kid. He's just a teenager. He tries to hit shots sometimes better. He just cuts it too close, tries to make it too good a shot, as he did just there.
Emilio Sanchez, the number 12 seed, over Donnie Laycraft, the NCAA champion. Aaron Krickstein, a good performance over Wally Masur on the grandstand court tonight. And Steve of West Germany advances, as does the number 16 seed, Chesnikov of the Soviet Union.
What Wilander is doing in this match is hoping that Sampras' inexperience will draw from him more unforced errors than winners. I'm not sure if that's the kind of thing you can bank on with someone as talented as Pete Sampras. Wilander, for his part, well, he's not playing that much differently from a year ago. He's doing all the things well that he has always done in his career, but he's not nearly as aggressive. He's not nearly as confident enough to really put these kind of people away easily, as he was doing a year ago.
He coasted over Horst Scoff in his first round and looked very good, but it's a different story tonight against this youngster from California. Good return from Wilander.
That is the right play for Wilander at this point. It's late into this match. Pete has got to be a little bit nervous. Make him play. Return it, get it in the court. Make the kid play the tough first volley.
Sampras, ranked number 91 in the world, coming into the tournament. Advantage Wilander. Great point.
Covered it.
deuce, and we'll return to the stadium court in Sampras and Wilander in a moment. Stay with us. With the U.S. Open Highlight Show, you're looking at live action from the stadium court. Tim Ryan with Mary Carrillo watching the defending champion, Mats Wilander, having some serious problems against 18-year-old Pete Sampras. Sampras with the advantage here, trying to move to 3-1 in the fifth and final set. Double fault. Back to deuce. You can imagine the emotions of this young man.
You know what happens, though? On a day of upsets, when Pete Sampras is sitting in the locker waiting for Paul Harhuis to beat John McEnroe, he can start thinking to himself, boy, why can't I pull that off? I can do that. Arantxa Sanchez before...
What a moment. What a night. Let's see match point.
He had to fight his opponent. He had to fight his nerves. What a moment in the life of this young kid.
18-year-old Pete Sampras from Rancho Palos Verdes, California, into the third round with an upset over the defending champion, Mats Wilander. Well, tomorrow our parade of young Americans continues with Michael Chang, Andre Agassi in third round action, and the old war horse Jimmy Connors headlining tomorrow evening stadium court action. All that and more when we return at 11:30 Eastern with night number 4 of the U.S. Open. Good night, everyone.